Hey y'all, it's your girl D back with another video. This video is a different kind of video from other videos that I have done in the past. This video is about my experience studying abroad as a 30-something-year-old graduate student. So if you guys are interested in studying abroad as a graduate student, an older graduate student, continue to watch this video. Okay. So this particular trip was a short-term study abroad trip. Lucky for me, my job allowed me to take 2 weeks off to do the trip. The locations for the trip were Taipei, Taiwan, and Tokyo, Japan. So let's start with the process that it took me to get into the actual program. So originally I had applied for the program probably October of the previous year, and you know, they have probably had a ton of people applying and things like that. So originally I was waitlisted because it has nothing to do with my major. This particular program was about the theme of the program was anime and youth culture. So basically trying to understand the influence of anime in the youth community in Taipei, Taiwan, and Tokyo, Japan. It was neither here nor there for me because I was like, okay, if I get into the program, cool. If I don't, cool. It's neither here nor there. But I eventually received an email saying, hey, you have been selected and moved off of the wait list into the actual program. So if you would like to accept, you need to let us know. Whoop-de-woo. So the biggest cost of these kind of programs is going to be the tuition, B, the flight tickets, and C, the program costs. So basically the whole thing was a big cost for considering, considering the expenses. Yeah, it was well over 5K for the total trip. And the program costs, the tuition and the flights, that is not including your spending money. So if you want to buy souvenirs, if you wanted to go out to extravagant meal places, you would have to foot that bill as yourself. I personally planned for about $600-650 additionally to the initial costs to buy souvenirs for my family and to eat. So that is how I ended up enrolling in the program. So prior to the program, because this is a course, we had to meet a couple of times. We had to meet a couple of times, classroom setting style, to do discussions and homework and activities that the professor had planned out for us. And so I did that. We had a pre-departure meal, all of that good stuff. So I was in a bit of a debacle. I had booked my flight ahead of time, obviously, because the closer you are to the date of your departure, you're going to spend more money. So I booked as soon as I knew I was going to the program, I looked for flights, the most affordable, as well as the dates that would make sure I would arrive by the time of the trip, because you had to be there by a certain time. If you weren't by a certain time, obviously, I mean, nothing would happen, but you get to the hotel and they would get you checked in and all that good stuff. So debacle number one, I book my ticket to Taipei, and I didn't realize I had to change my date because I was working the day before and I wouldn't be able to get there the day that it was landing. So I was all like turn around, because when you're crossing the international date line, you end up in a new day essentially, depending on when you leave. So that was debacle number one. I ended up in the city a day earlier than I thought, and I hadn't made lodging booking for that particular day. Luckily, I was able to find a cheaper hotel option close that was off the transit line, and super easy to find off the transit line in Taipei. I think it was called Lanco district. That is where I stayed the first night. So that was the first debacle, the flight issue. In my head, I was like, what? I got all turned around because I had changed my flight, and then the original landing date was not the same date, and then it was a whole different thing. So the second debacle, when you get off at the airport, because there's different diseases that come in the air, like I guess there was some kind of, I forgot what it was, like chicken pox, not chicken pox, some kind of pox, maybe smallpox or something. I don't remember what it was, but they give you a little card, and for somehow, some way, I ended up, I don't know what happened to that card, y'all. I grabbed it and then it was not in my hand after a while, so I don't know what happened with that, but got through immigration, got through all the processes, came out, and now it's time for me to find a place to stay because of that debacle number one. So once I was settled in, everything was good. Debacle number 2.5, we'll say 2.5 because it's not a big deal to me, but basically I ended up, my phone was kind of dying, and obviously there's nowhere to charge your phone and all of that good stuff. So I ended up, I had just enough battery life to get me to the hotel, and so that was a whole thing. The other thing, trying to catch the train with no data. I used the airport's Wi-Fi, but that was a whole thing in itself because once you leave the airport, there's a different data and there's a lot of different Wi-Fi things. So that was a whole thing, but nothing big for me. And then the other thing was not bringing USD prior to the trip, because I was like, okay, I'll just use the ATM, get the Taipei dollars, and then, or the Taiwanese dollar, and that's it. But it proved to be a little bit harder than expected. Luckily, they had many different ATMs. The Bank of Taiwan ATM was the one that was the best option for me at the time, and it allowed me to get the Taiwan dollar easier than any other ATM. So I stuck with that bank. Anytime I needed to withdraw money, I went to the Bank of Taiwan ATM. Prior to meeting up with my group, I had not even met my roommate yet. She was the only other grad student on the trip. It was fine for me, and I made sure to pack everything because I know I snore. I should have booked my own room, or I probably should have booked my own room. So prior to meeting up with the group, I actually had 2 days to kill. So I walked around. Basically, I was at the Lanco district first, and then I went to another hotel called Via Hotel. I'll put the district location in somewhere down here so you can know what district I stayed in. A very nice hotel. It was called Via Hotel, and it's a quaint little, like a boutique hotel in the financial district area. So it was very much, you see a lot of banks, you see a lot of businesses, very busy area for shopping and little local shops and things like that, which I really liked. There was always food options, very good food options available. So y'all, I'm here. This is my first night in Taipei. I'm super stoked for tomorrow. I'm gonna do some street photography stuff. I'm gonna go check out the city a little bit, and then check into my next hotel. And yeah, I'm gonna just keep y'all posted. Right now I look a hot mess, but I'm gonna fix myself up in the morning, get myself together, and I'll hit y'all back up tomorrow. Peace. when it was time for me to meet up with the group, I took public transit. Oh, that's the other thing. The public transit in Taipei is so clean and so easy to use. It's just like being in the US. You pretty much jump on Google, take whatever line it says. The only thing I did have trouble with was I got lost in one of the stations because the normal exit that I would have taken to get out of the transit center was under construction, and that wasn't a big deal because hey, it's just a normal thing. So you just find a way to street level and Google. So I was not ready for the level of heat that Taipei was bringing. The heat coupled with the humidity was almost unbearable. The first day, it's like you literally have to, every time you go out, you literally feel like you have to take a shower afterwards. I was just from getting to the hotel that I was staying at prior to the meetup location for the group. I was drenched. I was pretty much almost passing out because of the heat. Thanks for watching, y'all. If you want to see more about my trip, stay tuned for part 2. Peace and one love.